live here at Historic Colburn Park for another afternoon of baseball as the Newark Pilots host the Auburn Double Days. And these teams split the season series so far 1-1. Auburn won the last one, but Newark got the better of them in the first matchup, 7-6. Starting for the Pilots tonight is Angelo Deere, making another start for the Pilots here out of Emerson College. We saw Chris Lowe the other day, and Deere did pitch in that 7-6 win against Auburn, went 4 innings, 6 hits, 4 runs, giving up 3 of them earned, and a strikeout. So Deere throwing some warm-up pitches here, and we're about to get underway here on a Father's Day. For those of you listening at home, for those Newark Pilots fathers not in attendance tonight at the field, happy Father's Day to you from all of us here at Colburn Park, the staff, from the staff to the players. Happy Father's Day. The Pilots couldn't be Pilots without you guys. And we are going to get underway here at Colburn Park. It'll be Harrison Campy, the shortstop number 4, leading things off for Auburn here on Father's Day. Sun out in left field. Couldn't ask for a better day for baseball here at Colburn Park. So Harrison Campy will step in for the Auburn Double Days. And Campy, in the 7-2 victory against Newark 3 days ago, went 1 for 2 with 2 RBI. First pitch, misses high for a ball, counts at 1-0, and we're underway here at Colburn Park. Campy steps back in. From Manasquan, New Jersey. He's a freshman at Wofford College, Division I. Second pitch, fastball blown right by Campy from Deere. Counts at 1-1 now. 1 ball, 1 strike, no outs here in the top of the first. The pitch from Angelo Deere, changeup drops out of the zone. Count at 2-1 now. 2 balls, 1 strike, no outs. Harrison Campy steps back in. Angelo Deere comes set, and the pitch. That one misses just outside and away. Count is at 3-1. And Deere in danger of walking the first batter here to start off the game. Deere comes set yet again. The 3-1 pitch and delivery. Fastball right over the plate. Counts now full to the leadoff batter, Harrison Campy. So 3 balls, 2 strikes, no outs here. Top of the first inning. The 3-2 pitch from Deere. That one swung on and hit foul down the third baseline sharply. So we'll do the 3-2 again to the leadoff batter, Harrison Campy. And for the Double Days, the Double Days defeated the Batavia Muck Dogs 3-0 yesterday. And for the Pilots, they were defeated by the Elmira Pioneers 12-0 there at Dunn Field. The 3-2 pitch misses inside. That'll walk Harrison Campy to lead off the game. And that will now bring up the second baseman, number 5, Carson Gross, batting .238 coming into this game against the Newark Pilots. And Gross will be batting out of the left side of the batter's box. So righty on lefty matchup, our first lefty in this order for the Auburn Double Days, as he'll step in. Harrison Campy over there on first base. Mitchell Kelly will hold him. Kelly getting the start at first base for the Newark Pilots here tonight. That one misses outside, count at 1-0. So 1 ball, no strikes. Hazel Martinez awaits on deck, the former Newark Pilot from last season. He's DHing tonight. 1 ball, no strikes, no outs. The 1-0 pitch from Deere. That one clips the outside corner, counts now even up at 1. So 1 ball, 1 strike. Bobby Stang, the catcher, in the 4-hole. Garrett Prosper in the 5-hole, the first baseman. A.J. Wenrich, the right fielder. Behind him, Christian Bauman, the center fielder. Then Bryce Moore, the extra hitter. Christian Malello, the left fielder. And James Mason, the third baseman, rounds out the Double Days lineup. Pickoff attempt there from Angelo Deere will keep the runner close over there at first base. Slide back in safely. Close play at first. 1 ball, 1 strike. No outs here. Top of the first. That one swung on and popped up. Out of play, foul. So Deere gets ahead in the count now, 1-2. against Carson Gross. We'll have a couple interviews for you guys here this evening. Landon White, number 41 from Ithaca College, will be interviewing with us. And in the fourth inning, we'll have Tristan Head, the University of Virginia commit from Jupiter, Florida. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Deer comes set in the pitch. That one swung on and hit into right field. That one's going to get down for a base hit. Campy will head into third as it's a single for Carson Gross. And that will now bring up a familiar face to many Pilots fans, as that brings up Hazel Martinez. Martinez was playing his college ball at a local community college, Cayuga Community College, and they actually share a home park with the Auburn Doubledays. So Falcon Park over there, home of the Cayuga Community College baseball team. So Martinez will come in, very familiar face to the Pilots, as I mentioned. Have to think that the familiarity of the park led him to Auburn, as Kelly feels that one. His only play is going to be at first. He'll flip it over to Deer for the out, but a run will score. So it's an RBI, 3-1 ground out, and the Doubledays take a 1-0 lead here in this game. And that'll bring up the catcher, Bobby Stang. On the play, Carson Gross advanced to second base, so there's 1 out. A runner on second base for the Auburn Doubledays, and they lead this one 1-0. Deer comes set in the pitch. That one swung on and fouled out of play. Counts at 0-1. So Auburn taking an early lead here, as they have in both games thus far. Pilots did bounce back to win after trailing 4-1 against the Doubledays for their only win of the season thus far, back on June 11th. 0-1 pitch in there for a strike. Counts at 0-2 now, so 2 straight strikes from Deer, as he'll step back on the mound from Emerson College in downtown Boston, Massachusetts. No balls, 2 strikes, 1 out here. Top of the first inning. Deer comes set in the pitch. That one swung on and hit on a line, and that one's going to get through for a base hit. They're going to send Gross from second. He's going to come to the plate, and he'll be in safely. An RBI single with 1 out for Bobby Stang. As that will now bring up Garrett Prosper. Doubledays take a 2-0 lead now here to lead off the game. Very similar to what they did in their last appearance here at Colburn Park just a few days ago, just 3 days ago on the 15th. Doubledays scored 2 runs in the first, second, and third innings. Pilots looking to not allow that to happen here tonight. Final score of that game was 7-2 3 days ago. That one misses inside. Count at 1-0. So 1 ball, no strikes, 1 out. Top of the first. Deer getting into some trouble early, as Garrett Prosper, the first baseman, steps in. Batting .307 coming into the game tonight. That one misses low. 2 straight balls from Deer to Garrett Prosper. Count is at 2-0. As Prosper steps back in from the left side of the batter's box. From Du Bois, PA, and the University of Pitt, Johnstown. The 2-0 pitch taken for a strike. Counts at 2-1 now. So 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out to Garrett Prosper as he steps back in. The 2-1 pitch from Deer. That one swung on and fouled softly. All the Pilots players jumping up, trying to get the ball over there near the dugout. As Chris Lowe came away with it down there, has the off day tonight. Lowe did start the other day in the loss to the Auburn Doubledays. And that one, as Garrett Prosper flies that one out into right center field. The center fielder, DiMartino, underneath it makes the play. So an F8 for Garrett Prosper. Fly out to center. And that'll now bring up A.J. Wenrich, the right fielder. He's batting .047 on the summer thus far. So we'll see if Deer can play the numbers game and get out of the jam here. Doubledays lead 2-0 in the top of the first inning to lead off this game. Very similar to how they started the last game here at Colburn. Deer comes set. First pitch of the AB, curveball in there for a strike. Good movement on that thing from Deer. Counts at 0-1 now. 2 hits already in the inning for the Double Days, along with 2 runs. Another curveball in there at the knees. Counts at 0-2. 2 straight gems out of the hand of Angelo Deer. As Bobby Stangs over there on first base. Another curveball from Deer. 3 straight curveballs and strikes him out as Wenrich tosses his helmet and his bat over towards the Double Days dugout. Heading to the bottom half of the second, the Double Days lead the Pilots 2-0. We'll be right back on Finger Lakes One Radio. And, bottom of the first inning, we'll be right back on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel. As we are back here on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel, it'll be Frankie Vanzalata from SUNY Brockport. The Golden Eagle will lead things off yet again for the Newark Pilots here. As Frankie Vanzalata steps back in, and in the last game against the Double Days, 1 for 2 with a run. Vanzalata will step back in for these Pilots. Batting .333 coming into the game tonight. Counts at 1-1. First pitch taken for a strike. The second one misses wide. Vanzalata steps back in. 2-0 your score. Double Days lead the Pilots. As the 1-1 pitch, Vanzalata squares to bunt and pulls it back, but called for a strike. Counts at 1-2 now. And it's Joseph Gleason getting the start here for the Double Days tonight. 3 strikes called on Vanzalata. That one misses on the outer half of the plate. And that'll now bring up from across the pond, number 20, London, England, Grinnell College, Michael Flaherty. With 1 gone in the top of the first inning, 2-0 Double Days lead again. Big Michael is what they call him, Big Mike, as he steps in. After the Vanzalata strikeout looking. First pitch of the AB taken for a strike. Gleason pumps it in there. Flaherty batting .380. He is the Pilots leader in batting average at the moment. 0-1 pitch. That one taken for a strike as well. Another strike from Gleason. And he's already ahead in the count, 0-2. Gleason from Bloomington, New York. Plays his college ball at Mansfield University. Curveball misses low and away out of the zone. Counts at 1-2 now. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 1 out here in the bottom of the first inning. 2-0 Double Days lead. It's Michael Flaherty at the plate against Joseph Gleason. 1-2 pitch. Misses low as well. They're going to point towards the first base line. Looked like the umpire wanted to punch him out, but eventually said no, did not go. So the count's evened up at 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out here. Top of the first inning, Michael Flaherty at the plate. The pitch from Joseph Gleason. Another curveball misses low, and he falls down on the throw. Must have lost his balance there. Counts now full, 3-2 to Michael Flaherty. The dangerous hitting Dom Camera awaits on deck for the Pilots, and he needs no introduction. The Double Days know him very well. Went 3 for 4 in the win, 7-6 victories. That one comes inside and beams Flaherty. He'll head to first base, and that brings up Dom Camera. As I was just saying, needs no introduction. He's tonight's extra hitter for the Pilots here tonight. Dom Camera will step in. As Michael Flaherty at first base now. Dom Camera batting .352. He's second on the team in batting average coming into tonight. Camera did not play in the game on Wednesday against Auburn as the first pitch of the AB misses for a ball. Counts at 1-0. And packed house here at Colburn Park tonight. A lot of the fans making the trip to Historic Colburn Park for Father's Day. Spending Father's Day with us here at Colburn Park. The 1-0 pitch to Camera. That one misses high. Count at 2-0 now. As the fans getting loud. And in the 7-6 victory for the Pilots' only victory of the year, Pilots 1-9 coming into tonight. Camera went 3 for 4 with a big double out into left center field. As Camera lines that one down, and that's another base hit against the Auburn Double Days for Dom Camera. Right down the line, Flaherty is going to head into third. Dom Camera has a stand-up double with 1 out here in the bottom of the first. The Double Day killer, if you will. Dom Camera hits a double in the top of the first inning, and the Pilots have something brewing. And it's Jack Archimone, the University of Richmond commit, coming up with 2 runners in scoring position, and the Pilots, a single here could tie this game up. So Jack Archimone steps in from the left side of the batter's box. He is the catcher for the Pilots tonight after the double from Dom Camera. Archimone steps in, batting .250 coming into tonight's game. And Gleason misses with that pitch again, and after throwing all those strikes in a row, it was like 6 strikes in a row for Gleason, he seems to have lost the zone a little bit. The 1-0 pitch from Gleason. That one swung on and missed. Big cut there from Archimone. Counts now evened up at 1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out here. Bottom of the first inning, 2-0 Double Days lead. Dom Camera on second base after the big double there. Michael Flaherty on third after being hit by a pitch. The 1-1 pitch, curveball drops out of the zone and hits the dirt. Counts at 2-1 now. 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out here. Bottom of the first. Jack Archimone can tie this game up with 1 swing of the bat. The 2-1 pitch, that one swung on and hit foul. Just missed that one. Archimone had a good cut behind that one. Counts now evened up at 2. And waiting on deck is Mitchell Kelly. And for Kelly yesterday against the Elmira Pioneers was one of the very few bright spots in the 12-0 shutout Pioneers victory. As Mitchell Kelly yesterday went 2 for 3. Jack Archimone steps back in. The payoff pitch, that one swung on and hit out into left center field, and that one's going to get down. 1 run will score. Here comes Dom Camera cruising around third base. He'll come in safely. 2 RBI single for Jack Archimone, and we're tied up at 2. What a play, Jack Archimone and Dom Camera. He may be a catcher, folks, but he's got speed. As that'll now bring up Mitchell Kelly from right up 104 here in upstate New York from Webster, New York. By way of SUNY Cortland, the Red Dragon will step in. 2 for 3 yesterday against the Elmira Pioneers. Will step in Pilots just tied the game on the 2 RBI single from Jack Archimone. What a play from Jack. That one swung on and hit to the first baseman who throws on to second. And it is going to be a fielder's choice, 1-6 for Mitchell Kelly. And that'll bring up Frankie DiMartino from Bethpage, New York, by way of Hofstra University. Frankie DiMartino is going to step in now. As Jack Archimone out at second base on the play there. Throw over will keep the runner close over there. First pitch of the AB to DiMartino misses away. That one's going to get to the backstop. So Mitchell Kelly will advance 90 feet on the wild pitch. So Mitchell Kelly advances to second base on the wild pitch. 1 ball, no strikes as Gleason steps off. And Kelly on second with 2 outs. Tim Wagner waits on deck for the Pilots. 2 hits and 2 runs in this inning. DiMartino steps in. The 1-0 pitch. That one swung on a hit to the shortstop on a bounce, who fields and throws over to first for the out. As that's Harrison Campy over to Garrett Prosper for the out of the third out of the inning. Heading to the top of the second. We're tied up at 2 here after a 2 RBI single from Jack Archimone, which scored Michael Flaherty and Dom Camera. We'll be right back on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel. We are back here on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel. As always, I'm Kyle French. It'll be Christian Bauman, the center fielder, number 28, leading things off for the Double Days, the 7-hole hitter. And as always, every game here at home, I bring in a special guest. This time we've got number 41, Landon White from Ithaca College coming up. How's it going, Landon?
It's good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Great to have you up here. Big, tall, 6'6", 6'7". How tall are you?
6'6".
You certainly dwarf me. As the first pitch misses outside 1-0. So Ithaca College not too far away. What brought you here to Colburn Park?
Coach Steve, honestly, he came and recruited me, and fellow player who was supposed to play here as well, Matt Fabian. We were supposed to come here together, but
love Matt Fabian. He actually took the summer off, I believe, right?
Yeah, he did. He went home. He had some things come up at home, so he couldn't join us this year, but he had a really good season at Ithaca, so that was good.
Yeah, I did see that. Fabian did do really good at Ithaca this past year. Pilot from last year. So Bauman starts the inning off with a single. And what can you tell me? What's your experience been like so far this summer?
I've loved it. I love Coach Steve and the whole coaching staff. I mean, the guys are great. We're a loose bunch. You know, it's going to come together soon. So I'm not worried at all. We're going to get hot. So
certainly seems like you guys, we were talking, I mean, during the break, I mean, it seems like you guys have been in a lot of games this year. I mean, pitching has kept them right in the games, just haven't been able to put up runs. I think you guys have been shut out, I think 4 or 5 times already this year.
Yeah, we have
in 10 games, which
Yeah.
is not that good. So
it's a little rough.
just got to put up runs, and you guys are right in these games. As the curveball, good pitch there from Deere. Counts now 1-1 to the batter, Bryce Moore, the extra hitter, batting 125 coming into tonight's game. And I was talking to you before the game as well. We hear you might actually go out there, so that'll be interesting. We'll have you in the booth, and then you'll go right out there to relieve Angelo or someone else at some point.
Yeah, I don't know when I'm going in. I think Colt might be first out today, but
Colt Bartling did really well against Auburn the other day.
Yeah, he's electric. He has some really good stuff. That's my throwing partner, so I see his stuff every day during catch, and he is very good.
And it's interesting though, because Colt, I mean, he did struggle in his first outing, but since then, Colt has been electric coming in. As Bryce Moore fouls that one down the line, counts it 2-2 now. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, no outs to Bryce Moore. And Christian Bauman over there on first base in the last game against Auburn, the 7-2 win for the Double Days. Bartling, actually, that was Pete Jocelyn that came out in relief. There was another game that Colt Bartling came on in recently. It was against Elmira, the 5-0 win for Elmira. Colt came in the final 5 innings, gave up no runs, 6 strikeouts or something like that. Colt
just a couple hits. Yeah, he's been ramping it up, which is good. So he's gonna get a lot of innings, so that's good.
As Bryce Moore fouled that one off down the line. Count still evened up at 2. Bauman over on first base. Anything you can tell me about Angelo Deere, another fellow pitcher, pitching out there for the Pilots tonight?
I mean, he's just a great. Ooh, where'd that go?
As that one's popped up in the infield, foul territory. Mitchell Kelly makes the play over there, so a P3 in foul territory. 1 away here, and that'll bring up Christian Melillo, the left fielder.
Now he's a good guy. He's definitely a personality in the clubhouse, to say the least. But when it comes to game time, he's very locked in, and he does a good job every time. So that's good. He goes pretty deep as well. So helps the bullpen out a lot.
Certainly interesting too, because last summer, for the most part, Deere was kind of like a middle reliever kind of guy, and then at school just transitioned. I believe he had a couple complete games at Emerson this year.
Yeah, we were talking in the clubhouse before the game. He had a 85 pitch 8-inning game, which was unheard of. Oh.
As Christian Melillo squares the bunt there, and he is going to get over to first base. So, surprised the Pilots defense, caught him napping there. It's a 1-out bunt single for Christian Melillo. And the Double Days have runners on first and second now, and that'll bring up the last batter in the Double Days rotation. It's the third baseman, number 9, James Mason. I got to ask you, have you ever played in a league where they have an extra hitter?
I actually have. My last year's summer ball team, we had an extra hitter. I don't know how I feel about it though. I like the traditional 9 more than the 10, but I understand it. So
first pitch,
well, where that
misses just outside. Looked like the changeup from Deere. Loves that changeup. Has thrown it quite a bit here early on.
The changeup's good. It has a lot of depth to it too.
Yeah, it almost drops at the end like a splitter kind of.
His grip is more like split type
split change kind of
like a gyro almost. I feel.
So 1 ball, no strikes, 1 out here. The pitch, fastball misses high. Counts at 2-0. Who would you say? I know there's like certain, I've noticed like Boatman usually catches low. Is there like a certain catcher you'd have to say would be like your top choice to catch you? I mean, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but I gotta know these details, this inside information.
I like every catcher. I'm gonna say that, but probably my favorite's Dom.
Dom Camera.
Yeah, he called a good game last time he played Auburn, so I like pitching to him.
Already roped a double down the line and went 3 for 4 in that game against Auburn that you came on in relief and did really well. I believe you went 3 innings in that game. I have the stat line somewhere around here. As Deere bounces back in the count with 2 straight strikes, counts at 2-2. And in that last game for you, 3 innings, no hits, no runs, and a walk. That's it. 4 strikeouts against the Auburn Double Day. So we'll look to see some of that here tonight.
That was the most innings I've gone in a while, too. So I've had a lot of rest.
As that one hit back up the middle, the second baseman, Harris McReynolds, fields and throws onto first for the out.
It's a good play.
But that will advance the runners, and there's 2 outs now. So 4-3 ground out for James Mason, and that'll take us to the top of the order. Harrison Campy will come up. They actually call him safe over there at first base, so they changed the call. Oh, they're talking here at...
I thought he was out.
It looked like he was out, but maybe Kelly's back heel came up. They're going to chat, the home plate official and the base official. I mean, you got to have you got to think that the base official would have the better view there. He made the call.
Where's the video replay?
I know, right? We need the video replay as they'll have a conference. He is out at first base, and we'll see if Ben Julian, the Doubledays head coach, will come over. No, usually Ben Julian, not the calmest of guys to say the least. We've seen him get ejected a few times here at Colburn Park. He's been the Doubledays manager for the past, this will be his third season as the manager. So 4-3 ground out, a little bit of confusion there, but the runner is away, and we have 2 outs. That brings up Harrison Campy. First pitch, the AB misses high. Counts at 1-0. So Ithaca's Empire 8. You guys actually.
No, we're Liberty League. We
Liberty
moved to
League now.
Yeah, I think
you were Empire
2 years
8
ago or 3 years ago. Yeah.
So I got to ask you, does the name Tim LaCastro sound familiar to you?
It very much does.
From Ithaca Colleges. That one's roped out into left field. Michael Mugen under it, makes the play. So Angelo Deere gets out of the jam. We'll have Landon back for the bottom half of the second. We'll be right back on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel. As we are back here on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel, will be Timmy Wagner leading things off for the Pilots here in the bottom half of the second. Held him scoreless. Angelo Deere got out of the jam. I'm joined yet again by Landon White. Thanks for joining me up here. His first pitch swinging from Tim Wagner hits a foul.
We play against Tim this year at Wheaton in Florida. Good kid. They were really good this year too.
So Liberty League. Tell me a little bit about the Liberty League. That's right. I forgot that Ithaca transferred out of the Empire 8 into the Liberty League. So tell me a little bit about that.
I would say our division is probably the most competitive. 3 out of the 4 teams in our conference tournament came from our side of the division. We actually lost our first Liberty League series to one of the teams in our division, RIT. So that was a little disappointing, but it's very competitive to say the least. Yes. Very, very close games. So it's good. It takes a lot of guys to win a series.
As that pitch misses inside, counts at 2-1 to Tim Wagner, who's batting .307 thus far. He's been a bright spot in this Pilots lineup. Wasn't playing as much to start the year, but it certainly has found his way in the lineup quite a bit here recently. And did you know that RIT is actually Division I for hockey?
I actually did not know that.
Did not know that? Yeah, they actually made it to, I believe they made it to the Frozen Four there a few years ago.
I don't get how schools do that. I really don't.
I feel like it should be a universal thing, but some schools have programs that are like D3 for certain, like RIT is a good example.
Like Hopkins is like that. Johns Hopkins. They're D1 lacrosse, but everything else is D3. So it doesn't really make sense.
Guess it just depends where you go, I guess. Different strokes, different folks. As Tim Wagner fouls that one off. Counts it 2-2. And awaiting on deck is Gage Boltman, the Pilots veteran. As that one is hit up in the air. Can of corn in the infield. As the second baseman, Carson Gross, is underneath it to make the play.
It's the wall. The BH, number 9, Gage.
As it's Gage Boltman, nicknamed the Wall by these.
I think I pitched him in the first game. He is a wall. He blocks. He swallows everything.
And it's actually kind of crazy because you look at Gage and He's not the biggest guy by any means, but man, he knows how to keep a baseball in front of him. Plays Division II at East Central University.
Him and Colt, I think they go to the
Yep.
same school.
Colt is in the transfer portal right now, but Colt did go to ECU with Gage. As that one is swung on and hit by Boatman into
Story of our life.
the second baseman on the line.
We're going to see another Ithaca pitcher today. One of our stars is coming in relief for them.
As that one now, so you have a teammate on the double days.
I got 2 teammates on the double days. I got our starting second baseman from this year and then our number 2 from this year. So he'll be the first out of their bullpen today. He's pretty good.
As that pitch misses away to Harris McReynolds, counts at 1-0. So a P4 for Tim Wagner, and quickly a one-pitch swinging for Boatman and L4. That one swung on and hit into left field. That one is going to get all the way to the wall. Harris McReynolds is going to round second base, and he's going to halt and retreat the throw in, not in time. And that'll now bring up Michael Mugen. As Mugen made an appearance on our social media the other day. Mugen made a great play out in left field against the double days on the 15th. Caught the ball in left field and gunned the runner, Christian Melillo, out at the plate. Melillo also playing again today. He's got a cannon, man, out there in left field.
I saw him long toss him over the game, pretty much pole to pole almost. He has a hose, to say the least. He's also a pitcher, though, and I'm surprised we haven't seen him throw yet. But
he's a two-way.
Yeah, he's going to SEMO next year, I'm pretty sure.
It's funny. I actually was able to talk with him before the season, introducing myself and stuff, asking him how to pronounce his last name because I like to, be on top of my stuff up here, making sure I'm pronouncing everyone's names right. And he's like, I was like, what position do you play? He's like, what position do you want me to play? That's how he introduced himself to me. So he definitely started out on the right foot. As that one gets all the way to the backstop. Wild pitch yet again for Gleason, and Harris McReynolds, after the double with 2 outs, he's on third base. So a little bloop single here, and the Pilots could take a lead. So Michael Mugen steps back in, counts it 2-0 to him, and the top of the order in the dangerous hitting, Frankie Vanzalato, always seems to find his way on base, awaits on deck. The 2-0 pitch from Gleason. That one swung on and hit back up the middle to the second baseman. Gross fields it and throws over to first. And Gleason gets out of the jam, heading to the top of the third. We're tied up at 2. Thanks for joining me, Landon.
Thank you for having me.
Good luck. Hopefully we'll see you come out there and throw some good baseball.
Definitely. Thank you.
So we'll be right back on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel. Back here on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel. It's Carson Gross leading things off for the double days here in the top of the third inning. Singleton came around to score back in the first. We're knotted up at 2-2, tied across the board. 2 runs, 3 hits, and no errors for each the double days and the Pilots. Angelo Deere drops that beautiful curveball in there for a strike. Counts at 0-1 now. The 0-1 pitch. Change up on the outer half of the plate. Called for a strike. Deere, 2 straight strikes to start off the third. And we see these Emerson guys, Chris Lowe and Angelo Deere, once they get into their grooves, these guys are very, very nasty. That one swung on and hit out into left field. Michael Mugen catches it in front of him. So that's a single for Carson Gross. Lost it in the sun there, but that one just dropped in front of Mugen. Mugen stops it. So it's Gross's second hit of the game, and that'll bring up Hazel Martinez. as Hazel Martinez will come up to the plate. And again, as I mentioned, former Newark Pilot. And I did say that Hazel went to he did go to Community College. He transferred and played this past year at Union College in Barberville, Kentucky, as he hits that one out into deep center field. Frankie DiMartino slides, and that one's going to hit off the ground in front of him. And Gross is going to round third, and he's going to come in safely all the way. An RBI double for Hazel Martinez, the former Newark Pilot, doing some damage to his former team, and the Doubledays take a 3-2 lead. So 3-2 lead now, and that'll bring up another dangerous hitting guy for these Auburn Doubledays. It's Bobby Stang, the catcher. Had a single with an RBI in his first AB in the first inning. Stang batting .266 coming into the game tonight. First pitch of the AB from Deere. That changeup, loves it, and their fourth strike counts at 0-1. No balls, one strike. And we just had Landon White, number 41, the Ithaca College Bomber, out of the Liberty League, no longer in the Empire 8, interviewing him up here. It's great to talk to him. That one fouled off the catcher Archimon's mask, as the count is now 0-2. No balls, two strikes, no outs. As Bobby Stang, the catcher, steps back in, 1-for-1 on the night, as we mentioned. Hazel Martinez on second base. Quite a hefty lead there for him. Not a threat, really, speed-wise, as Stang fouls that one off. So Bobby Stang steps back in. Doubledays wearing their away road red jerseys. No balls, two strikes, no outs. Deere will step off to keep Martinez honest over there on second base, getting quite a big lead. Harris McReynolds playing second base. We'll keep him close. The 0-2 pitch from Deere. That one swung on and hit. A little blooper as Deere lets that one go by him, and it'll be a single. I think Deere thought that the second baseman, Harris McReynolds, was going to field that one. Little miscommunication there. And that's a single. As that now brings up Garrett Prosper for the Doubledays. So Garrett Prosper will step in now. Prosper 0-for-1 in the night with a fly out to DiMartino in center field in his first at-bat in the first inning. And the Doubledays already have runners on the corners and a one-run lead here with no outs in the top of the third. First pitch of the at-bat taken for a strike to Garrett Prosper. That one swung on and hit to Harris McReynolds at second. The only play is going to be to first. So an RBI 4-3 ground out for Garrett Prosper, and there's one away. The Doubledays take a 4-2 lead now in the top of the third. That'll bring up A.J. Wenrich, struck out swinging back in the first and threw his helmet towards the Doubledays dugout. A.J. Wenrich will step back in. Deere threw 3 straight curveballs to him in their last AB. We'll see if he sticks with it here. First pitch, changeup, low and away, as that one tailed right out the last second. And you're going to see Wenrich is very frustrated. Coming into tonight batting .047, and certainly has been letting his emotions get the better of him here tonight thus far. No balls, one strike, one out, as Wenrich steps back in. The 0-1 pitch. That one swung on and hit out into left field. Michael Mugen tracks underneath it and makes the play into deepish left center field for the second out of the inning. So a F7 for A.J. Wenrich, and that'll now bring up Christian Bauman, the center fielder. 1-for-1 thus far tonight. He came into the game batting .280 as he singled and was left on base in the second inning. As the lefty will step into the batter's box. 2 away here. And so far for Deer, 33-13 strike to ball ratio. So that's been significantly good for Deer. That one swung on and fouled off. Counts at 0-1. Deer getting ahead in the count early. As Archimone will call time. These two, Angelo Deer and Jack Archimone, certainly two peas in a pod, always hanging out, always around each other, the best of buds, if you will. And it really took no time. They met each other the first day and have been at each other's hips since. So good to see them, catcher-pitcher duo, getting along, as most of the guys do in the locker room for the Pilots and the clubhouse. Certainly, despite the struggles, have been a very, very optimistic bunch and looking to turn this ship around after starting 1 for 9. The 0-1 pitch from Deer. That one swung on and popped up into left field. Michael Mugen underneath it and makes the play. So the Doubledays pick up 2 more runs. Heading to the bottom of the 3rd inning, they lead the Pilots 4-2. I'm Kyle French. We'll be right back on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel. As we are back here on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel, be Frankie Vanzalata leading things off for the Pilots here in the bottom of the 3rd. Doubleday scored 2 more runs in the top half of the 2nd. And Frankie Vanzalata will step in. Joseph Gleason out for another inning of work for these Auburn Doubledays. And so far for him in 2 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, and a strikeout. First pitch called a strike. Count at 0-1. And Vanzalata struck out looking in his first at bat to lead off the game for the Pilots. The 0-1 pitch. That one just misses low. Count at 1-1. And Vanzalata has seen quite the significant amount of off-speed stuff thus far. The 1-1 pitch from Gleason. That one misses outside. Counts at 2-1. So 2 balls, 1 strike, no outs here to lead off. Bottom of the 3rd, it's Frankie Vanzalata at the plate, and Michael Flaherty awaits on deck. Flaherty was hit by a pitch in his last at-bat. That one swung on and popped foul. Counts now evened up at 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. No outs. As Frankie Vanzalata, the lefty, steps back in. Out in right field tonight for the Pilots, where he's been most of the season. That one just kind of hacked at, and he'll hit that one foul. We'll do the 2-2 again. And in the hole for the Pilots is Dom Camera, the Doubleday killer. The 2-ball, 2-strike pitch, as they're going to say Vanzalata did go around. The first base umpire calls him out. And he did go around. Just a little bit of delayed call there. And that'll now bring up Michael Flaherty from London, England. Number 20 for the Pilots. Big Michael, as they call him, steps in. Hit by a pitch and scored in the first. And is the Pilots' leader in batting average at 380. First pitch misses low and away, count at 1-0. So 1 ball, no strikes, 1 out. Michael Flaherty steps back in, and the dangerous hitting Dom Camera waits on deck. 1-0 pitch. Bounced. Counts at 2-0. 2 balls, no strikes, 1 out. As Michael Flaherty steps back in, and again, we'll have another interview in the 4th inning. It'll be Tristan Head. That one comes in and hits him, his second hit by pitch of the game. And we've seen this movie before, and that'll now bring up Dom Camera. So Dom Camera's going to step in, and this happened in the 1st inning. Frankie Evangelista struck out. Michael Flaherty hit by a pitch. And then now Dom Camera will come up to the plate. There's going to be a little bit of a meeting here. As there's going to be a little bit of a conference between the Doubledays head coach and his pitcher. As they disperse. Ben Julian giving a glare up here at the press box after the Jeopardy music being played during his coach's meeting. And that'll bring up Dom Camera. And so far on the summer, as I mentioned, the Doubleday killer, self-proclaimed by me, for Dom Camera, he's 4 for 5 on the summer thus far with 2 doubles. That one swung on and hit to the shortstop, who fields it and flips over to the second baseman and on to first. As a 6-4-3 double play for Dom Camera gets the Doubledays out of the inning, heading to the top of the 4th. 4-2 your score. We'll be right back on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel. On Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel, as always. Kyle French here with you in the broadcast booth, and I've got another guest up here. It's Tristan Head. How's it going, Tristan?
Going good. How are you?
Doing good. The University of Virginia commit joins me after the 6-4-3 double play for the Pilots to end the last part of the inning. That one fouled down the line, as it's Bryce Moore leading things off. And one of very many, actually, Virginia commits, players that we've had in the past. We've had guys like Nick Kent. I don't know if you ever heard of Nick Kent, Jack Gerstenmeyer, Tate Ballestero, and Will Alaka. So University of Virginia and Newark Pilots, definitely familiar friends. We have one more University of Virginia commit out of Jupiter, Florida, Tristan Head. So what brought you here to the Newark Pilots?
So basically, my coach, Brian O'Connor, reached out to me for a summer ball opportunity and told me he wanted me to come here, and I was grateful to have that opportunity, and I was really excited to come here and play.
As Bryce Moore hits that one to the third baseman for the Pilots. That's Tim Wagner over there, and he throws it on to first for the first out of the inning. And certainly the University of Virginia has been quite the powerhouse the last few years. I mean, they made it to the College World Series. I think it's 4 or 5 times they've made it in the last 5 years or something like that. They're almost there every year. And actually, funny story, my aunt is from Charlottesville, Virginia. So I don't know if you saw me wearing the shirt one day.
Yeah.
That's why. So I have a little bit of connection to Charlottesville. So certainly always root for the Who's.
Yep, definitely.
So what's your experience been like thus far this summer?
It's been great. Being one of the younger guys, I was a little nervous coming here playing with some older guys, but the team's been great. They've welcomed me great, and the coaches have been good. And it's really a cool experience to play against older guys and some good competition. So it's been a really great experience just to start.
As the 1-1 pitch is flied out into left field, Michael Mugen, been busy out there tonight, makes the play in left field, and there's now 2 outs. So great play there from Michael Mugen. So it's actually told by Grandpa Chris Ferrara, he's been self-proclaimed. So you said you're one of the youngest guys. Well, Chris is one of the older guys, and he said you guys went to rival high schools. He's from Coral Springs, Florida. You're from Jupiter, Florida, and he said he actually never played against you because of the age difference.
Yep. He went to Heritage, and yeah, that's a very good team. We definitely big rivals with them, and it was really cool to see that.
As Harris McReynolds looked like he made the play there at second base.
Ooh.
And the first base umpire is going to call him safe. Not sure if they'll appeal to the home plate umpire, but it looked like Harris McReynolds made a great diving play there at second. Head coach Daniel Steve is talking to the first base umpire. And the talk will end, but that for sure looked like Harris McReynolds made the play from up here.
Jeez.
But nonetheless, it's a 2-out single for James Mason, as that now brings up Harrison Campy, the leadoff hitter in this Double Days lineup, number 4. Campy from Wofford, as he'll step in. Angelo Deere out for another inning of work. That one comes in and misses for a ball. Counts at 1-0. So 1 ball, no strikes. The way Campy peeled out of the box, it looked like it hit him in the back, but counts at 1-0. Anything you're looking forward to at the University of Virginia?
I mean, it's just a beautiful campus, and I'm just really looking forward. The coaches are so good, and I'm also going to school with 2 of my friends who went to the same high school, who's going there for baseball too. So that's gonna be a great experience to go with some guys I know.
As that one swung on a miss, counts at 1-1. Well, obviously, it's a pleasure to have you here as a member of the Pilots, and even bigger pleasure to have you up here in the broadcast booth with me.
Great to be here.
Always interesting getting the players' perspective of things, because summer ball is it's one of the more different kinds of baseball, because it's like a developmental thing. But all the guys, you meet your friends in summer balls. That one's thrown down for the final out of the inning. Great throw there from Jack Archimone, catches James Mason in his tracks. So for the third out of the inning, 4-2 your score. We're heading to the bottom of the 4th. Tristan will be back up here while the Pilots bat. We'll be right back on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel. here, back here on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel. Be Jack Archimone leading things off for the Pilots here. And a lot like you, Tristan, Jack is a commit, but this time, different Virginia school, the University of Richmond in the Atlantic 10. So have you guys been able to connect it all this summer?
Yeah, definitely. He's a really good player and a great guy, and it's going to be cool that we're, like, very close in college. So we're definitely probably going to run into each other because I believe Virginia played Richmond maybe this year or last year. So probably definitely see him in college.
The Richmond Spiders. That one hit to the shortstop who fields and throws on to first. So a 6-3 ground out for Jack Archimone to lead things off, and that'll bring up Mitchell Kelly, number 34 for these Pilots, as Kelly will step in. And not the Flying Squirrels, the Double-A team. They're for the San Francisco Giants, right? The Richmond Flying Squirrels, I believe?
I believe so.
They may have flopped around. They were the Giants at one point. All the minor league teams are always switching around.
Yeah.
It's so weird. As Mitchell Kelly steps in. 1 for 1 in the night thus far, as he singled back in the first inning. That one swung on and hit into center field as the center fielder makes a diving grab for the out for the second out of the inning. Unfortunate break there for the Pilots. And that'll now bring up Frankie DiMartino from Hofstra University as he'll come up in Bethpage, New York. Tim Wagner awaits on deck. Quite a big crowd here tonight at Colburn Park.
Really,
Definitely our
really
biggest.
good atmosphere. It's good.
Certainly whenever the fireworks.
Yep.
Whenever there's fireworks, the Pilots fans love to make their way to the park, and why not?
Yeah.
Couldn't be a better place to be for some baseballs. That one's lined right back up the middle, and it's a 2-out single for Frankie DiMartino, and that one's actually going to get all the way near the wall. DiMartino with blazing speed already into second base. Frankie DiMartino with the wheels there, and it's a 2-out double for him. And that'll now bring up Tim Wagner with an opportunity to chip into this Doubleday lead. Certainly the Doubledays bring out the best in the Pilots so far this summer. And Finger Lakes rivalry is only about 40 minutes away. Not as close as Geneva, but still close by any means. As Tim Wagner will step in 0 for 1 in the night, popped up to the second baseman in the second inning. First pitch taken for a strike. Is there any team that you really haven't well, I'm trying to find the best way to say this. Which team, I guess, would you say like your biggest rival is, or who like you're like the most motivated to play?
In this league?
Yeah, in this league so far.
I'd probably say, Geneva. I mean, we played them and we thought we played really well, but we just somehow lost. We thought we were definitely going to win that, and they're right next to us, so we really want to beat them.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are like staying right near each other too, so it's there's like even more added rivalry. And not only that, it's owned by the same person, the same owner. As Frankie DiMartino steals third base and is already sliding up and ready to run home. Man, he can fly over there. Frankie DiMartino steals third with ease. Not even a throw down. There was no chance there to catch DiMartino, as counts it 2-1 to Tim Wagner, and a single here. Maybe not even a single anywhere. The ball's hit. DiMartino certainly probably would score at home, as that one misses low. Counts it 3-1, and awaiting on deck is the Pilots veteran, Gage Boatman. So 3-1 the count. 2 outs. Again, I'm joined by Tristan Head, University of Virginia commit. Has the day off for the Pilots here tonight. That one swung on and hit up the middle. Campy fields it and throws over to first for the out. So Gleason once again gets out of trouble, just barely, but he gets out of trouble. Heading to the top of the fifth, 4-2 your score. The Doubledays lead the Pilots. Thanks for joining me, Tristan.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Yep.
Good luck the rest of the
Thank
season.
You so much.
And we'll be right back on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel. Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel. We just had Tristan head up here, the University of Virginia commit from Jupiter, Florida. Day off for the Pilots today, but nonetheless, taking the time out of his day. These guys don't have to do these interviews, but I really appreciate them coming up, and they make the most out of it. They certainly make the broadcast a better place, and they make the team a better place here at Colburn Park. As Angelo Deere out for another inning of work. First pitch of the AB to the leadoff man, Harrison Campy, in for a strike. Pilots got out of that last inning. Archimone threw out James Mason at second base. Changeup fooled Campy there, and 2 straight strikes from Angelo Deere has him ahead in the count, 0-2. This is Campy's third at bat. Walked and scored in the first inning and flew out to left field in his second AB in the second. That one swung on and hit blooper to the second baseman, McReynolds, who makes the play. So a P4 there for Harrison Campy, the first out of the inning in the top of the 5th inning. And so far for Angelo Deere, 4.1 innings of work, 8 hits, 4 runs, 1 walk, and a strikeout for Deere. The pitch misses outside, counts at 1-0 now to Carson Gross, the second baseman for the Double Days tonight. He's 2 for 2 with 2 singles and 2 runs scored. As he steps back in, the 1-0 pitch from Deere. That one swung on and hit into left field. Michael Mugen backing up, actually makes the play in shallow left field. Michael Mugen, man, he's been really good defensively for these Pilots. And that's the second out of the inning. That'll bring up Hazel Martinez, 1 for 2 on the night thus far against his former team as he steps back in. This time as a member of the Auburn Double Days, and kind of brings a tear to my eye seeing Hazel on a different team, but certainly wish him the best in his future endeavors now with the Auburn Double Days. Had a chance to catch up with him before the game the other day. Said that Double Days owner Don Lewis gave him a call for the start of the season and was excited to play somewhere where he had played before at Falcon Park there. So the count's at 2-0 to Hazel as he steps back in. The designated hitter for these Double Days tonight. 2 balls, no strikes, 2 outs. The 2-0 pitch. Curveball drops in there for a strike. Good pitch from Deere. Counts at 2-1 now. Martinez with 2 RBIs on the game thus far already for the Double Days. Had an RBI and a 3-1 ground out and doubled with an RBI in the third as the 2-1 pitch misses outside. Count at 3-1. Sun is hiding behind the clouds here. Just a little strand of clouds at Colburn Park. It'll peek out probably momentarily. Deere comes set. 3 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. The 3-1 pitch. Curveball drops in there. The count's now full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Hazel Martinez out of the left side of the batter's box will step back in. And the battle of former teammates. Deere comes set. The payoff pitch. In there on the outer half of the plate. Martinez not happy with the call. Great frame there from Jack Archimone. Heading to the bottom half of the 5th. Double Days lead the Pilots 4-2. Again, I'm Kyle French. We'll be right back on Figure Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel. we're back here on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel. It'll be Gage Boatman leading things off for the Pilots in the bottom of the fifth. 4-2 Double Days lead, and so far across the board, 4 runs on 7 hits, no errors for the Double Days, and 2 runs on 4 hits, no errors for the Pilots. Certainly, Pilots playing well here tonight. It's been quite the outing for Angelo Deere. He's been doing really good. As curveball first pitched from Joseph Gleason in there for a strike for these Double Days. Counts at 0-1 to Gage Boatman, who lined out to the second baseman in his first at-bat. The 0-1 pitch to Boatman. That one, big cut there as his helmet comes off. Counts at 0-2 now. So no balls, 2 strikes, no outs to Gage Boatman, batting 142 coming into the game this evening. Beautiful day for Father's Day, and an even more beautiful day for a baseball here at Colburn Park. As the 0-2 pitch from Gleason bounced in the dirt low, counts at 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, no outs here in the bottom of the 5th inning. As Gage Boatman will step back in. The 1-2 pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3, a leadoff strikeout for Gage Boatman. As that'll now bring up Harris McReynolds. So Harris McReynolds will come up to the plate now for the Pilots. And he is 1 for 1 on the night thus far. As Harris McReynolds doubled and was left on base back in the second inning. First pitch misses away. Counts at 1-0. There is someone up there throwing in the Double Days bullpen, as that appears to be number 43. That one fouled off into the backstop here at Colburn Park. As that's Colin Lehner warming up in the Double Days pen. That one swung on and missed by McReynolds. As Gleason gets in the head in the count now, 1-2. And Lehner actually plays college ball at Ithaca, so we had a chance to talk with Landon White about that one, as that one is hit right to the first baseman who catches it. And that'll now bring up Michael Mugen. Mugen has been active out there in left field for the Pilots. As Mugen will step in with 2 outs here, as he is transferring to play at Southeast Missouri State for these Pilots. So Mugen steps in. First pitch swung on and fouled off. Counts at 0-1 to him. After the L3 from Harris McReynolds. Pilots have been hitting the ball really hard, just unfortunately right at the Double Days infielders. As that one misses away, counts at 1-1 now. 1 ball, 1 strike to Michael Mugen. Grounded out 4-3 in the second inning. He's batting 142 coming into the game this evening as he'll step back in. Been playing a really good left field for the Pilots, as I mentioned. Been all over out there tonight. 1 ball, 1 strike to pitch. Fastball blown by him, counts at 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and 2 outs to Michael Mugen as he steps back in. Top of the order, and Vanzalato waits on deck. 1-2, that one line right to the second baseman who throws, and that one's going to get away. And he made the out call prematurely, but they're going to say he's out on the tag nonetheless. That was Carson Gross who flipped it over to Garrett Prosper at first, but it had looked as if Mugen had got underneath it. So the 3rd out of the inning, heading to the 6th inning now. Double Days lead the Pilots 4-2. We'll be right back on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel. As we are back here on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel. It's John Sanchez coming on to pitch now for the Newark Pilots from SUNY Orange Community College. And for Sanchez, in his last appearance for the Pilots, actually pitched against these Auburn Double Days when the Pilots won back on the 11th. And for Sanchez, he went an inning, gave up a hit, 2 runs, 2 of them earned, and a strikeout. So Sanchez will come on in relief of Angelo Deere. First pitch, swung on and missed. Big swing there from Stang. Counts at 0-1. As John Sanchez comes in. As Sanchez wearing number 17 for these Pilots. That one just misses. Counts at 1-1 now. So 1 ball, 1 strike, and no outs to lead off the top of the 6th for the Double Days. It is Bobby Stang. The 1-1 pitch from Sanchez. Bounced low. Counts at 2-1 now. 2 balls, 1 strike, and no outs. And Sanchez certainly takes his time there on the mound. And no pitch clock here in the PGCBL Summer League. So certainly he is allowed to do that. Pitch clock implemented into the NCAA this past season. 2-1. Big cut and a big miss there for Bobby Stang. As Sanchez, the off-speed pitch, fools the batter. As it counts at 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, no outs here. Top of the 6th. Bobby Stang steps back in. John Sanchez comes set. The pitch. That one swung on and popped up. First base side. Mitchell Kelly will watch that one go out of play here at Colburn Park. As the kiddos in the stands chasing down the foul ball here. We'll do the 2-2 again. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Bobby Stang, who's 2 for 2 on the night with a pair of singles and an RBI to his credit thus far. As Stang steps back in here. Top of the 6th, 4-2 Double Days lead. Double Days 4 runs on 7 hits, no errors, and Pilots 2 runs on 4 hits, no errors. That one misses high. Counts now full at 3-2. Sun coming back out of the clouds, blinding out there in left field. Correction, 8 hits on the board for the Auburn Double Days. The payoff pitch from Sanchez. Swung on and hit out into center field. Frankie DiMartino makes the sliding grab out there in center for the out to lead off the inning. Great play there from DiMartino. As that'll now bring up the first baseman, number 16, Garrett Prosper. 0 for 2 on the night thus far with an RBI. In his last at-bat, grounded out 4-3 as McReynolds to Kelly. Mitchell Kelly at that. 2 Kellys on the team now. 2 from Western New York, 1 from Rush Henrietta, and Dylan Kelly, number 22, joining the team, and Mitchell Kelly from Webster, New York, so the greater Rochester area. And 2 SUNY schools as well, Alfred State for Dylan Kelly and Mitchell Kelly from SUNY Cortland. So 1 ball, no strikes now to Garrett Prosper as he steps back in. Was batting .307 coming into the contest tonight. The 1-0 pitch from Sanchez. That one swung on and hit on a line. Kelly fields it and flips over to the pitcher, Sanchez. Who tags the bag and waiting to see what the call is going to be here. As the ball actually got away. So that one will be a base hit for Garrett Prosper. As the runner probably would have beat that one out regardless. So that'll bring up A.J. Wenrich, the right fielder. 0 for 2 on the night struck out swinging in the first and flew out to left field in the third. He's batting .047 coming into the game tonight. So he'll step back in, looking to change his fortune thus far. One out here in the top of the sixth. 4-2 score. Doubledays lead the Pilots. Sanchez comes set. First pitch of the AB. That one swung on and popped up out of play. Counts at 0-1. So Sanchez getting ahead in the count now early on. And we'll leave the stream on following the game for a little bit. We'll leave the video up for the post-game fireworks. Wenrich plays his college ball at Georgia Southern University. Steps back in, the 0-1. Misses high and away. Good stop there from Jack Archimone behind the dish. Counts at 1-1 now. It'll be the top of the order for the Pilots in the sixth when we come back. Pickoff attempt will get past Mitchell Kelly, so an E1. As the runner's going to head to third, and the throw from Kelly over to third, that one's going to get all the way out of play yet again, so it's going to be an E1 and an E3. And the Doubledays score a run on 2 errors. A Little League run for the Doubledays, and they now lead the Pilots 5-2. As Wenrich steps back in, counts at 1-1 now. That one missed, counts at 2-1. That one fouled off. Counts now evened up at 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. As Wenrich will step back in. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out here. 5-2 lead now for the Doubledays. Pilots with a pair of errors on a pickoff attempt from Sanchez. 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3 for the second out of the inning. It's Wenrich's second strikeout, as he will walk back to the dugout with his head hanging. Counts. There's 2 outs now in the top of the sixth. Doubledays have already scored a run thus far this inning on those errors, as there is someone up and warming for the Pilots in the pen. No balls. No strikes. First pitch of the AB. That one swung on and hit back up the middle, as that one is going to be fielded and thrown onto first by Michael Flaherty at shortstop tonight for the third out. So the Pilots now trail by 3. The Doubledays put up one more run heading to the bottom of the 6th inning. We'll be right back on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel. As we are back here on Finger Lakes 1 and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel, 5-2 Double Days lead after they picked up another run in the top of the 6th inning. It'll be Frankie Vanzalata leading things off for the Pilots here. As Vanzalata steps in, first pitch misses low, counts at 1-0 to Vanzalata. As he'll step back in, new pitcher is Colin Lehner from Ithaca College, as we mentioned. Second pitch misses, counts at 2-0 now. Two balls, no strikes to lead off the inning to Frankie Vanzalata. That one swung on and hit down the line. First base side foul. Count is now at 2-1. Vanzalata 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts on the night thus far. Looking to change his fortune at the top of the order here. It's Michael Flaherty waiting on deck, who was hit by a pitch in his first two ABs. The 2-1 pitch swung and fouled. Counts at 2-2 now. 2 balls, 2 strikes to lead off the inning with Frankie Vanzalata looking to avoid his third strikeout of the night. Just trying to find his way on base. 2-2 pitch. This is outside. Counts now full at 3-2. There is no action in the Double Days pen yet, so they're going to ride Lehner for a little bit. The 3-2 pitch. Swung on and hit. That one hit into right field, but it hangs up long enough for the right fielder, Christian Wenrich, to get underneath it, and that'll now bring up Michael Flaherty to the plate from London, England. And Flaherty has reached base in both of his plate appearances. Was hit by a pitch in both of those pitches. So hoping to not head to first yet again on a hit by pitch. Did score in the first inning. First pitch at the AB. That one hit on a line to the third baseman, who fields it and throws over to first. 5-3 ground out from James Mason to Garrett Prosper. And they're 2 away quickly. Now bring up Dom Camera for the Newark Pilots. Doubled back in his first at-bat and grounded into a 6-4-3 double play in his last. So Dom Camera will step up. He is 4 for 6 on the summer against the Double Days. First pitch taken for a strike, counted 0-1. So no balls, 1 strike. 2 outs to Dom Camera. While waiting on deck is Jack Archimone. 0-1 pitch. Swung on and hit on a line down the third base line. It's another base hit for Dom Camera. His second of the game. Another hit against the Double Days, and he's 5 for 7 on the summer against the Double Days. And that'll now bring up Jack Archimone. Archimone behind the dish for the Pilots tonight, and he had a 2 RBI single back in the first inning that tied the game originally. We'll see if he can produce something similar to that here in an at-bat with 2 outs and a runner on. Mitchell Kelly, the SUNY Cortland Red Dragon, awaits on deck. Jack Archimone steps in. Dom Camera on first. First pitch misses for a ball. Counts at 1-0. Big opportunity here for the Pilots. That one swung on and roped up the middle. That one's going to get down for a base hit. Dom Cameron's going to stop at second. So a pair of 2-out hits for the Pilots, and that'll now bring up Mitchell Kelly from Webster, New York, and SUNY Cortland. Mitchell Kelly will step in, 2 runners on, and if he finds a gap somewhere, could be 2 more runs for the Pilots. They have runners on first and second, as Dom Cameron on second base, and Jack Archimone on first, and DiMartino awaits on deck. The dangerous hitting, DiMartino, as that one's fouled off. Kelly immediately steps out, frustrated with himself for swinging at that one, as that one was clearly out of the zone. Counts at 0-1. 2 outs here. Bottom of the 6th, 5-2 Doubledays lead. Pilots with the chance to tack some on here and cut into that lead. With 2 outs, little 2-out rally here in the bottom of the 6th. 0-1 pitch to Kelly. Misses outside, counts at 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. No one up in the Doubledays bullpen. They're going to ride Lehner for a bit. Mitchell Kelly steps back in. Lehner comes set. The 1-1 pitch. Taken at the knees. Count at 1-2 now. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Big opportunity here for the Pilots. Chance to get back in this ball game a little bit closer. As we're getting to the later stages now, almost 2/3 of the way done with the game, as Kelly hits that one up, and it's into right field. As Wenrich underneath it makes the grab out there in right field, heading to the top of the 7th. The Doubledays lead the Pilots 5-2. We'll be right back on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel. We are back here on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel. Top of the 7th inning, 5-2 Doubledays lead, and it'll be Bryce Moore leading things off for the Doubledays here. As that is Bryce Moore at the plate for the Doubledays, the extra hitter. 0 for 2 on the night. As it sounds like there's going to be some kids running the bases here at Colburn Park at either the end or the middle of this inning. So that should be interesting. For the first time this year, kiddos are going to run across the outfield or run the bases. As first pitch of the AB fouled off by Moore. Counts at 0-1. No balls, 1 strike, no outs. As it's Father's Day, free admission for all dads around, and youth baseball and softball kids getting into the game for free as well. 0-1 pitch from Sanchez misses high, counts at 1-1. So 1 ball, 1 strike. and no outs. John Sanchez back out for another inning of work for the Pilots. 1-1 pitch. Misses high, counts at 2-1. 2 balls, 1 strike, no outs. So that appears to be Owen Donahue warming up in the Pilots bullpen down there. 2 balls, 1 strike, no outs. Top of the 7th inning, 5-2 Doubledays lead. 5 runs on 9 hits for them, no errors. That one swung on and hit foul. Counts at 2-2 now. Pair of foul balls for Bryce Moore, the 8-hole hitter for this Doubledays team. Bryce Moore steps back in. 0 for 2 on the night. Sanchez looking to set him down for the 3rd time. The 2-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 3 for the first out of the inning. Sanchez fools him with a changeup. As that's Christian Melillo up at the plate now for the Doubledays. So Christian Melillo at the plate for the Doubledays. Number 12. 1 for 2 on the night thus far. Out in left field tonight for them. Was batting .277 coming into the game tonight. That one swung on and hit right into the screen in front of me here in the press box. Count is now at 0-1. Sanchez certainly has a methodical pace to him. As there is a crowd of kids below us here in the press box, if you can't hear them, picking up on the feedback of the microphone. And Ace, our mascot, making his season debut as that one comes in and hits Melillo. So that'll bring Melillo to first base, and that'll bring up the 3rd baseman, number 9, James Mason. Batting in the 10 spot for the Doubledays with 1 out. And Donahue warming down there in the pen. John Sanchez steps back on the mound. Certainly, as I mentioned, quite a different, slower pace for the lefty. Sanchez, the pitch. Just misses below the knees. Sanchez not happy with the call. Can't blame him. As from up here, looked like a strike at the knees, but the PGCBL umpire strike again. 1 ball, no strike. 1 out. 1-0 pitch. Misses high and away. Counts at 2-0. And I imagine Sanchez will be on a short leash here in only a 3-run ball game. Sanchez comes set. The 2-0 pitch from him. Runner goes. That one bounced in the dirt, so he'll steal second with ease. That's a stolen base for Christian Melillo after being hit by a pitch. And he's now in scoring position for the Doubledays as Jack Archimon will come out to chat with his pitcher. John Sanchez. So far for Sanchez, 1.1 innings pitched, a hit, a run given up, and 2 strikeouts. Has thrown 21 pitches thus far. Angelo Deere only finishing the night with about 70 pitches. 5 innings pitched, 8 hits, 4 runs, a walk, and 2 strikeouts. Certainly not too shabby by any means for Angelo Deere here on Father's Day at Colburn Park. As James Mason, the 3rd baseman for the Doubledays tonight, steps back in. 3 balls, no strikes. The 3-0 pitch from Sanchez. Taken for a strike on the outer half. Sanchez looking to fight his way back into the count. Counts at 3-1. And again, Doubledays lead the Pilots 5-2 here in the top of the 7th. Christian Melillo on second base has some speed, so a single here would likely score him as well. The 3-1 pitch misses outside, so a 1-out walk for James Mason. And that'll bring us to the top of the order. And head coach Daniel Steve's going to come out and chat with his pitcher, John Sanchez. Infield will come in as well. So a little bit of a conference.
There is fireworks. Also, the next home game for the Pilots will be Wednesday at 7:05 start against these very same Auburn Double Days. Hope to see you there.
So a little bit of a conference. And it actually looks like John Sanchez's night will be done. Pitching change for the Pilots. That appears to be Owen Donahue, but we will verify that is Owen Donahue. So Owen Donahue coming on to pitch for the Pilots. We're going to take a break here on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel. We'll be right back. As we are back here on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel. Pitching change for the Pilots. It'll be Owen Donahue coming on to pitch for the Pilots from Brambleton, Virginia. He plays his college ball at Salisbury University. Runners go. The throw down to second base from Archimone. Not in time, and good backup coverage from the center fielder, Frankie DiMartino, stopping that one. That probably for sure would have scored a run. So runners go. 2 stolen bases on the pitch from Donahue. And just like that, with 1 out, the Double A's have 2 runners in scoring position, second and third on the double steal. Pitch to Campy. Misses low, count at 1-0. 2-0, excuse me, the count. That pitch did miss for a ball that the runner stolen. So 2 balls, no strikes, 1 out. Leadoff batter steps back in. That one swung on and hit back to the pitcher who fields. Throws to Kelly at first, who records the out. So 1-3 ground out for Harrison Campy. Keeps the runners put at second and third. And we have 2 away, and Owen Donahue could come in out of the pen and get out of the jam here. Carson Gross steps in now and certainly has been the most productive double day of the night thus far. He's 2 for 3. 2 for 3 with a pair of singles and 2 runs scored, as that one misses outside. Good stop from Archimone. Keeps the runner at third, as that's Christian Malillo at third base. Donahue comes set. The 1-0. Taken for a strike. Count at 1-1 now. 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 outs here. Top of the 7th, 5-2 Double Days lead. They have runners on second and third looking to add some insurance. That one taken for a strike on the outer half. Donahue now takes the lead in the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Kids antsy to run the bases. Can Donahue put away Gross? So they can. The 1-2 pitch. just misses outside. Counts now evened up at 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here. And a let's go Pilots chant breaking out from the Pilots faithful. That one just misses outside, and you hear some boos from the crowds. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here. Hazel Martinez awaits on deck. A dangerous bat for the Doubledays. The pitch from Donahue misses outside for a walk. And that'll now bring up the designated hitter and former Pilot, Hazel Martinez, number 29 for the Doubledays. Martinez has a chance here to blow this thing wide open. We'll see if Donahue can win the battle. Martinez steps back in. First pitch of the AB. Misses outside, counts at 1-0. 1 ball, no strikes. Time called by Martinez. Looks like he's tying his cleat. No balls, no strikes. Martinez steps back in. 1 ball and no strikes. First pitch of the AB missed for a ball. The 1-0. That one misses outside as well. 2-0, the count, nowhere to put him. A walk here would walk in a run. Bobby Stang awaits on deck. 2 for 3 on the night is he. Hazel Martinez 1 for 3 on the night with 2 RBIs to his name. Martinez steps back in. The pitch. 3 straight balls from Donahue. And he's just got to throw this thing over the plate now. The 3-0 misses low, and a run will score. Another RBI for Martinez on the walk, and that's his 3rd RBI of the night. 6-2 score now here at Colburn Park. And that'll bring up the catcher, number 30, Bobby Stang. 2 for 3 on the night with an RBI and 2 singles to his name. 4-run Doubledays lead now after the walk-in. As it looks like Landon White, who we interviewed earlier, is warming up in the Pilots' pen. That one misses for a ball. Counts at 1-0. 1 ball, no strikes. 2 outs in the top of the 7th. Pilots trail by 4. Bases loaded for the Doubledays. Donahue looking to get out of the jam. That one misses. Counts at 2-0. 6 straight balls from Donahue as he has lost the zone. Two balls, no strikes, 2 outs. Donahue comes set. The pitch. That one misses outside as well. 3 balls and no strikes. As it's actually Colt Bartling now warming up down there in the pen for the Pilots. The 3-0 swung on and fouled off his leg, does Bobby Stang. Counts at 3-1. Interesting there that Stang had the green light with a 3-0 count, and that pitch looked outside as well. That would have walked in a run, certainly. So Stang will step back up to the plate. 3-1. Taken for a strike. Counts now pushed full. Donahue just needs 1 more of those, and we'll be heading to the bottom of the 7th, limiting the damage to 1 run this inning. The payoff pitch, swung on and hit. That one hit out into deep center field. Frankie DiMartino, that one's going to get all the way to the wall. 1 run will score. 2 runs will score. They're going to send Hazel Martinez all the way around. It's a 3 RBI double for Bobby Stang. He has 4 RBIs on the night. And that'll bring up Garrett Prosper. So the Doubledays blow this one wide open. 9-2 your score now. As Garrett Prosper will step up, 1 for 3 on the night. Daniel Steve's going to come out and talk to his pitcher. Unfortunate break there for the Pilots. as the infield's going to come in and chat with their pitcher now. Pilots now trail by 7 runs. Four runs scored in this half inning for the Doubledays. As it's going to be Colt Bartling coming on to pitch for the Pilots now. We'll be right back on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel. As we are back here on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel. Pitching change for the Pilots. It's Colt Bartling coming on to pitch. And pinch hitting for Garrett Prosper is number 25, Jacob Hodes from Mansfield University. So a couple substitutions here in this game. 1-2 the count. That one hit to the shortstop, Flaherty, who throws over to first. 6-3 ground out to end the inning. Heading to the bottom half of the seventh. Doubledays blew this one open. 9-2 your score. We'll be right back on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel. As we are back here at Historic Colburn Park, Doubledays now lead the Pilots 9-2. So Frankie DiMartino will be leading things off for the Pilots in the bottom of the seventh, and the Pilots need to put up some runs here if they want to get back into this ball game. DiMartino 1 for 2 on the night with a double back in the fourth. First pitch swinging, big cut there for him, and a miss. Counts at 0-1. No balls, 1 strike, no outs. As Frankie DiMartino will step back in to face Colin Lehner. DiMartino hits that one right to the pitcher, who fields and throws over to first. 1-3 ground out for DiMartino. And then I'll now bring up the third baseman, Tim Wagner. Tim Wagner stepping up to the plate now. Tim Wagner steps into the plate. First pitch in there for a strike. Counts at 0-1 to Tim Wagner, who's 0 for 2 on the night thus far. Popped up to the second baseman in the second and grounded out 6-3. As that one swung on and hit down the line. Foul. Counts at 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes, 1 out to Tim Wagner from Hingham, Massachusetts. Plays his ball at Wheaton College. This is the 0-2 from Lehner. Swung on a miss, strike 3 for Wagner, the second out of the inning. And that will now bring up Gage Boltman.
Up next from Tecumseh, Oklahoma, the DA, number 9, Gage Boltman.
As Gage Boltman's going to come up to the plate now for the Pilots with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th. 9-2 your score. As the Auburn Doubledays blew this thing wide open in the top half of the 7th, scoring 7 runs, adding to their 5-run total before the start of the inning. Gage Boltman will step up to the plate now. 0 for 2 on the night, lined out in his last AB as that one's hit down the line for a base hit. Gage Boltman, a 2-out single for the Pilots. And that'll now bring up Harris McReynolds.
Number 14, Harris McReynolds.
Harris McReynolds going to come up to the plate for the Pilots with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th. And Michael Mugen awaits on deck for the Pilots. Harris McReynolds doubled in the 2nd inning. 1 for 2 in the night, lined out in his last AB. That one misses outside, counts at 1-0. So 1 ball, no strikes, and 2 outs. 2, Harris McReynolds. So McReynolds steps back into the box. The 1-0 pitch. That one swung on and popped up down the third base line. And that one will get into the Doubledays bullpen. Counts at 1-1 to Harris McReynolds. One ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Harris McReynolds steps back in from Starkville, Mississippi, home of Faith Hill. The 1-1 pitch. Curveball drops in there for a strike. Counts at 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs here. Bottom of the 7th. Gage Boltman sits on first base for the Pilots. The 1-2 pitch. Misses outside as McReynolds was able to hold up on that one. Counts now even up at 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here. Bottom of the 7th inning. As Harris McReynolds steps back in, the lefty. 2-2 pitch. Misses for a ball. Runner goes, and it's a stolen base for the catcher. Typical catcher, Gage Boltman. So full count now to Harris McReynolds. And a little bloop here would score Boltman. Mugen awaits on deck. 2 outs here. 7-run Doubledays lead, but never too late to start scoring for the Pilots as that one is hit to the right fielder who makes a sliding grab for the final out of the inning. Unfortunate break for the Pilots, but nonetheless, 9-2 Doubledays lead. We're heading to the top of the 8th. Pilots running out of time. We'll be right back on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel. are back here on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel. I'm Kyle French, as always. Top of the 8th inning now. Excuse me. As Colt Bartling coming out after getting the Pilots out of the bases loaded jam there in the last inning. First pitch in there for a strike to A.J. Wenrich, who is 0 for 3 on the night. Pair of strikeouts and a fly out to left field. As that one misses, counts at 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike to Wenrich. Plays his college ball at Georgia Southern University and came into this game batting 0-47 on the summer and 0 for 3 on the night. So certainly has been a struggle for him so far this summer, looking to turn things around. 1 ball, 1 strike. Colt Bartling comes set. The lefty, 1-1 pitch. Misses inside, counts at 2-1. 2 balls, 1 strike. No outs. Colt Bartling coming on in relief and has certainly solidified himself as one of the better relievers out of the Newark Pilots bullpen. That one swung and popped up in the infield. That one gets over into the stands as the kids are chasing each other for the foul ball. Two balls, 2 strikes, no outs. A.J. Wenrich as Wenrich steps back in. Colt Bartling will come set. The 2-2 pitch from Bartling. That one swung on and hit into center field. DiMartino tracking and makes the play in center field. Great play there from DiMartino with the speed to grab it. As that'll now bring up the center fielder number 28, Christian Baumann. So 0 for 4 is Wenrich on the evening. And that'll bring up Christian Baumann, the center fielder number 28, who was 1 for 3 on the night thus far for the Double Days. Came into the game batting .280. And he'll have an opportunity to boost the batting average. Colt Bartling, that pitch taken for a strike. On the inner half of the plate, good pitch there from Bartling, counts at 0-1. So no balls, 1 strike, and 1 out. That one swung on and popped up. Archimone makes a great play over there near the Double Days dugout, And not often you see a catcher that can fly like that with all the equipment on, but Archimone shrugs it off as if it was nothing. But Jack Archimone, the University of Richmond commit, makes a great play there in foul territory and shrugs it off like it's nothing. So 2 away here in the top of the 8th. Great play from Jack Archimone in foul territory. Has that one taken for a strike. And Colt Bartling has been really good out of the pen for the Pilots. Certainly one of the better relievers, as that one in there for a strike. Count at 0-2 now. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Colt Bartling, really solid out of the pen for the Pilots. Swung on and missed. Strike 3 for the 3rd out of the inning. 1, 2, 3 go the Double Days. Colt Bartling doing his thing out of the pen. We'll be right back on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel. back here on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel will be Michael Mugen, the Southeast Missouri State University transfer. Coming in, first pitch, misses way high for a ball, counts at 1-0. As Michael Mugen, a pair of groundouts, 4-3 for him on the night thus far. And a pitching change for the Double Days. It's Teddy Nelson coming in, and 2 straight balls from him. Number 33. So Nelson steps back in. That one misses for a ball. So 3 straight balls from Nelson, and the top of the order on deck. This could be what the Pilots need. Don't forget that back in that victory, 7-6 victory for the Pilots, they scored 6 runs in the 5th inning against the Double Days on June 11th. So it's a leadoff walk for Michael Mugen. And that'll bring up Frankie Vanzalata and the rest of the top of the order. Don't count the Pilots out. And Michael Flaherty awaits on deck. So Frankie Vanzalata will step in, looking to change his fortune thus far. As Vanzalata 0 for 3 on the night. Will step in the pitch. Taken for a strike, and that one almost nearly hit Vanzalata. Interesting call there from the home plate umpire. Counts at 0-1. No balls, 1 strike, no outs. In the bottom of the 8th. Vanzalata steps back in. Michael Mugen on first base. Has some speed over there. 0-1 pitch, misses outside, counts at 1-1. So 1 ball, 1 strike, and no outs. Frankie Vanzalata with Michael Flaherty waiting on deck. The 1-1 pitch. That one almost hits Vanzalata in the heel. Mugen is going to get to second on the wild pitch. And the count's at 2-1. Nearly no one down there in the Double Days bullpen. So this could be a spot where the Pilots get back in this one. 2 balls, 1 strike, no outs. The pitch from Nelson. Misses high and away, and that one gets to the backstop as well. Another wild pitch. As the count's now at 3-1. Just what the doctor ordered for the Pilots. We'll see if they can trim into the 7-run lead from the Double Days. And we'll see how conservative Ben Julian gets over there. The Double Days skipper. The 3-1 pitch. Taken for a strike on the outer half. Counts now 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes, no outs. Frankie Vanzalata steps back in. Michael Flaherty awaits on deck. That one almost hits him, and he'll walk. So runners on the corner now for the Pilots. And that'll bring up Michael Flaherty. And guess who waits on deck? Dom Camera. And the Double Days know exactly who's waiting on deck. And if Flaherty were to able to either walk or find his way on base here, that would load the bases with the dangerous hitting Dom Camera, who is 5 for 7 on the summer against these Double Days. As Michael Flaherty ready to step up. Ben Julian comes out to chat with the pitcher. There's a little bit of a conference on the mound with Teddy Nelson. As Michael Flaherty steps up, the conference disperses. Just trying to settle his guy down. Teddy Nelson from Bates College. He's a senior there from Marshfield, Massachusetts. First pitch of the AB fouled off into the net by Flaherty. Flaherty really wanted that pitch. Count at 0-1. No balls, 1 strike, no outs. Flaherty steps in. Runner goes in there for a strike. Down to second base. He's going to be out at second, but Michael Mugen steals home. So the Pilots do pick up a run. So a stolen home base for Michael Mugen, but the runner caught stealing 2-6. And that's Frankie Vanzalata. Interesting that they were able to catch Vanzalata at second there. Maybe he thought they weren't going to throw down, but one gone. Counts at 0-2 to Michael Flaherty. That one misses outside. Counts at 1-2 now. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Bottom of the 8th. Pilots scored a run this inning. They trail by 6 runs. They'll need a few more. Flaherty steps back in. 0 for 1 in the night. 2 hit by pitches. That one misses inside. Counts at 2-2, and that one nearly hit him as well. Looking for the hat trick in the hit by pitch category. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Big Michael Flaherty steps back up to the dish. The 2-2. Taken at the knee. Strike 3 for the second out of the inning. And that'll bring up Dom Camera. He's been the spark plug for the Pilots the last few games. And he's 5 for 7 on the summer against these double days. So he'll step in. A double and a single. 2 for 3 on the night is he thus far. He'll step in to face Teddy Nelson. First pitch. Curveball drops into the zone. Counts at 0-1. No balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. Dom Camera steps back in. Jack Archimone will be on deck. 0-1 pitch. Swung at and fanned at by Camera. Counts at 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Dom Camera will step back into the batter's box. The 0-2 pitch from Nelson. Misses outside, counts at 1-2 now. One ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Dom Camera from Hofstra University will step up to the dish. 1-2 pitch. Almost hits him. Counts at 2-2 now. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Dom Camera steps back in. The Hofstra University product, the 2-2 pitch. That one swung on and fouled off into the netting. Before transferring to Hofstra, Camera was a member of the George Washington team in the A10 Division I program, the Revolutionaries. As the 2-2 pitch almost hits Camera in the head, that'll push the count full at 3-2. As 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Dom Camera steps back in. Dangerous hitter at the plate, and the Double Days know that, as he's had their number all summer. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The 3-2 pitch swung on and missed, strike 3. Camera's going to run towards first, and he'll be out. So a drop third strike, and they'll put him out 2-3. Pilots did pick up a run, but heading to the 9th inning, they trail by 6. Down to their final 3 outs are the Pilots. We'll be right back on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel. Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel will be Christian Melillo, the left fielder, number 12 at the plate now. That one in there for a strike. Counts at 0-1. 8:30 Eastern time. Sun setting there beautifully in left center field. As that one misses. Counts at 1-1 now. Colt Bartling back out for another inning of work, and thus far, and 1.1 innings of work. No hits, no runs, no walks, and a strikeout. 9-4 ball to strike ratio for Bartling. As that one misses, counts at 2-1. Bartling, like I said, man, he's been solid out of the pen. Had that rough first game for the Pilots, but since has been lights out. 2-1 pitch. Swung on and missed. Counts at 2-2 now. Changeup fooled him. Good pitch there from Bartling. Two balls, two strikes. No outs. The 2-2 pitch just misses outside. Counts at 3-2. So 3 balls, 2 strikes. No outs here. That one fouled off. Count now at 3-2. So we'll do it again. Bartling will come set yet again. Christian Melillo, 1 for 2 on the night. Singled in the second inning and hit by a pitch and came around to score in the 7th. That one swung on a hit back up the middle. Michael Flaherty fields it, and he actually bobbles it. So that'll be an E6 for Michael Flaherty. The Pilots' first error of the ball, third error of the ball game, and that'll bring up the third baseman, number 9, James Flaherty. So leadoff E6 has a runner on base for the Double Days here, and the top of the 9th inning. And again, there will be post-game fireworks here at Colburn Park. That one just misses for a ball. Count is at 1-0. 1 ball, no strikes. Colt Bartling comes set. The 1-0 pitch, swung on and missed. Counts at 1-1 now. One ball, 1 strike, no outs. That one in there for a strike. Good pitch from Bartling. Counts at 1-2 now. One ball, 2 strikes, no outs. Colt Bartling comes set and the pitch. That one swung on and popped foul. So we'll do the 1-2 again. As Bartling comes set. James Mason steps back in. No outs here. Christian Melillo on first. Bounce and a good stop from Archimone. Counts now evened up at 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and no outs. As James Mason will step back up to the plate. Throw over will just keep the runner close. 2 balls, 2 strikes, no outs. As James Mason, the third baseman, steps in. 2-2 pitch from Bartling. Swung on and missed. Strike 3 for the first out of the inning. Bartling's second strikeout thus far. And that'll take the Double Days to the top of the order. It'll be Harrison Campy, the shortstop. 0 for 3 on the night thus far. As a pickoff attempt there, we'll keep Melillo close at first. That one misses for a ball. Counts at 1-0. Appreciate the fans spending Father's Day with us yet again, whether you're on the live stream or in the stands. None of this would be possible without you guys supporting at home. That one misses as well. Counts at 2-0. 2 balls, no strikes, 1 out. Colt Bartling, the lefty, comes set. The 2-0 pitch. That one misses outside as well. So 3 straight balls to Harrison Campy. And a walk here would put Melillo on second with 1 out. Harrison Campy steps back in. Pickoff attempt. Very close over there at first base. Melillo dives back in head first safely. The pitch from Bartling. Taken for a strike. Counts at 3-1 now. 3 balls, 1 strike, 1 out. As we are in the top of the 9th. 9-3 your score. Doubledays lead the Pilots. 3-1 pitch. Fooled him. And they're going to say he did not go around. That is quite unbelievable if you ask me. As Archimon's going to come out and talk with his pitcher, Colt Bartling, but not sure how they're saying Campy held up there. The bat came all the way over home plate in the front there. And once again, the PGCBL umpires strike yet again. As Archimon talking with his pitcher, Colt Bartling. As Harrison Campy actually heads to first on the walk, excuse me. Weird play there. Fooled me. And that brings up Carson Gross. First pitch at the AB misses 4 ball. Counts at 1-0. Gross, the second baseman for the Doubledays tonight. He's 2 for 3. He's scored 3 runs, reached base in 3 of 4 plate appearances, 2 singles and a walk, and scored on each time he's been on base. 1-0 pitch taken for a strike. Counts at 1-1. Doubledays have runners on first and second. It's Christian Melillo at second base, and it's Harrison Campy there at first. 1-1 pitch. Misses outside. Count is at 2-1 now. 2 balls, 1 strike. And doesn't look like anyone's really up and throwing in the Pilots' pen, so they'll probably let Bartling finish this one out. And again, there will be post-game fireworks, so we'll leave the live stream up for the video feed for you guys watching on the Pilots YouTube channel. 2-1 pitch. Taken for a strike. Count is at 2-2 now. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. As Carson Gross steps back in. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Bartling, the pitch. Curveball hit to Wagner at third, who throws over to second base for the out. So a 5-3 fielder's choice for Carson Gross. 5-4 fielder's choice for Carson Gross. And that'll bring up Hazel Martinez, who has 3 RBIs on the night for the Doubledays and has scored 2 runs. And he's 1 for 3. He had a double back in the 3rd inning and a walk in his last appearance. But the bases were loaded, so he gets credited the RBI. That one in there for a strike. Counts at 0-1. With a loss here, the Pilots would fall to 1-10, and the Doubledays would improve to 6-6. 0-1. Swung on and missed by Martinez. And Colt Bartling, with runners on the corners, is looking to get out of the inning. And we'll see if the Pilots have a 6-run plus rally in them. 0-2 pitch. In there, strike 3. Colt Bartling strikes him out. His 3rd strikeout of the game. Gets out of the jam, heading to the bottom of the 9th. Doubledays lead the Pilots 9-3. We'll be right back on Finger Lakes 1 Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel. As we are back here on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots YouTube channel, it's Jack Archimone up at the plate. Had to run down and turn the lights on. It's getting a little dark here at Colburn Park as Archimone steps in. 1-1 the count. Teddy Nelson out for another inning of work. As that one misses inside, counts at 2-1 now to Archimone. As time is called and Ben Julian's going to chat with the home plate umpire. Two balls, one strike. And Julian has been in this umpire's face all night. And again, we have seen him get ejected several times here at Colburn Park over the years in his third season as the Double Days skipper. 2-1 pitch to Archimone, misses outside, counts at 3-1. Pilots just looking to rally here. Rally caps are on. They trail by 6 runs. Bottom of the ninth inning, Archimone the leadoff batter. The 3-1 pitch, misses low. A leadoff walk for Jack Archimone. And he'll head to first base, and that'll now bring up Mitchell Kelly. So certainly the way you want to start off the night if you are the ninth inning for the Pilots, trailing by 6 runs. Leadoff batter gets on base, and we'll see what we can do here. As Mitchell Kelly steps up to the plate now for the Pilots. 0 for 3 on the night. A fielder's choice in the first inning and a pair of flyouts since then. First pitch of the AB misses for a ball. Counts at 1-0. And awaiting on deck is the dangerous hitting Frankie DiMartino, who already has a double in this one. 1-0 pitch to Kelly. Misses low. Counts at 2-0. 2 balls, no strikes, no outs here. The 2-0 pitch misses outside, counts at 3-0. 3 balls, no strikes, no outs. As the first baseman, Mitchell Kelly, will step back in. The 3-0 pitch almost hits him. It's a 4-pitch walk, back-to-back walks to start off the inning for the Pilots. And that'll now bring up Frankie DiMartino. So Frankie DiMartino is going to step up to the plate now for the Pilots. As Frankie DiMartino with 2 runners on the base paths for the Pilots. And the Pilots have a good opportunity here. Tim Wagner waits on deck for the Pilots now. As Frankie DiMartino will step in. Teddy Nelson has walked the first 2 batters of the bottom of the ninth, but the Pilots need 6 runs. We'll see if they can do it. DiMartino steps in. The first pitch of the at-bat. Taken on the outer half of the plate for a strike. Counts at 0-1 to DiMartino. Tim Wagner waits on deck. Behind him, Gage Boatman. Mitchell Kelly on first base. Jack Archimone on second. The 0-1 pitch swung on and fouled off down the line. Nelson ahead in the count 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes, no outs here. Bottom of the ninth inning, 9-3 your score. as Frankie DiMartino will step back up to the dish. The 0-2 misses. Counts at 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strike to Frankie DiMartino, who did double back in the fourth. And Arcamone has some speed there at second as well. He could likely score on a well-placed ball. That one misses outside. Counts at 2-2 now. 2 balls, 2 strikes, no outs. DiMartino with the Bryce Harper-esque face paint, the Warrior-style face paint. 2 balls, 2 strikes, no outs. The 2-2 pitch from Nelson. Swung on a hit. That one hit out into center field, left center field. The left fielder underneath it and makes the play out there. Great play by the left fielder, Christian Melillo. Turned all the way around, but was still able to grab it, and that'll bring up Tim Wagner from Hingham, Massachusetts, by way of Wheaton College, with 1 out here in the bottom of the 9th. Unfortunate break there for DiMartino as he smoked that baseball, but Melillo was able to catch up to it near the warning track. As Tim Wagner steps in, first pitch swinging, and first pitch missing. Counts at 0-1. No balls, 1 strike, 1 out. And again, there will be post-game fireworks, so we will leave this live stream up for those of you watching on NewarkPilots.tv so you can see the fireworks. And appreciate the listeners over on FingerLakes1Radio.com as well. 0-1 pitch, swung on and missed, counts at 0-2. So Wagner falls behind the count 0-2, and waiting on deck is Gage Boatman. Wagner 0 for 3 on the night, struck out swinging in his last appearance as he steps in. 9-3 your score. Runners on first and second. So there is potential for some damage here for the Pilots. 0-2 pitch. That one almost hits Wagner as he falls back in the batter's box. Counts at 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Tim Wagner will step back in as Teddy Nelson comes set. The 1-2 pitch. In there, strike 3. Tim Wagner not happy with the call, as that one looked like it was off the outer edge of the plate. And the Pilots are down to their final out now. That'll bring up Gage Boatman, the second-year returner. As Gage Boatman will come up to the batter's box for the Pilots. So Gage Boatman coming up to the plate now. Pilots do have runners on first and second. Mitchell Kelly on first and Jack Arcamone on second. That first pitch misses for a ball. Counts at 1-0. 1 ball, no strikes, 2 outs. As Gage Boatman steps back in. Swung on and fouled into the glove. Counts at 1-1 now. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Pilots down to their final out. Boatman, 1 for 3 on the night, singled and was left on base in his last plate appearance in the 7th inning. Harris McReynolds awaits on deck if need be, and Michael Mugen in the hole. 1-1, taken at the knees. Count at 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Pilots down to their final strike here as they trail 9-3 in the 9th inning. Nelson comes set. The payoff pitch just misses outside. Count at 2-2 now. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. And Doubleday's head coach Ben Julian still letting the ump hear it. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Nelson comes set. The 2-2 pitch swung on and fouled off down the third base line. So we will do it again. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Pilots down to their final strike. Can Boltman deliver? The 2-2 pitch swung on and popped up out of play. So we'll do the 2-2 again. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Gage Boltman steps back in. The 2-2 swung on and hit right back up the middle and thrown over to first. And Boltman has an infield single. So the bases are now loaded. Didn't have the best angle from up here. But the bases are now loaded for Harris McReynolds, and the Pilots have an opportunity. Down to their final out, but not going away lightly. Harris McReynolds from Starkville, Mississippi will step up. But is it too little, too late for the Pilots? Bases loaded. They trail by 6. Down to their final out. Michael Mugen awaits on deck. And the top of the order behind him. First pitch from Nelson misses high and away. Counts at 1-0. 1 ball, no strikes, 2 outs. Harris McReynolds at the dish. The 1-0 pitch taken for a strike. Count evened up at 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Jack Archimone on third. Mitchell Kelly at second. And Gage Boltman with his second hit delivers, and the bases are now loaded. The 1-1. Big cut and a big miss from McReynolds. He falls behind the count now. 1-2. Pilots faithful cheered him on. Pilots dugout coming alive as well. Can they do it? 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The 1-2 pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3, and the ball game is over. The Doubledays win this one, and the Pilots fall to 1-9. Final score 9-3 as the Auburn Doubledays beat the Newark Pilots and take a 2-1 series lead. Again, the Pilots are on the road tomorrow to face the Batavia Muck Dogs, and we'll be back on Wednesday right here at Colburn Park. I'll be calling that game as well. And we're going to leave the stream up for a little bit. We're going to have some post-game fireworks. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, both on NewarkPilots.tv and FingerLakes1Radio.com. Doubledays win this one. 9-3 your score. We'll be right back. We'll see you next time. As always, I'm Kyle French. It's been a pleasure. See you then.